Well, hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. So, in this episode, I will answer the question, what is the best value Scott road bike in 2023? And in my opinion, the best value Scott road bike is the Scott Addict 20 bike with the retail price of 3,600 US dollars. And in this video, I will of course give you the buyer's guide for this bike and also explain why I believe that this is the best value road bike you can currently buy from Scott. So, okay, first thing first, let's answer the question, who is this bike for? So you see, Scott Addict 20 platform is all about endurance road bike. So when you think about a bit more relaxed geometry, you are spending long days in the saddle, then definitely you should consider the Scott Addict platform. So it's not going to be, stiff bike, light bike, climbing machine. This is not the point of this bike. The whole point is relaxed geometry and kind of smooth bike ride, so you can spend a lot of hours riding this bike. Now, when you look at the paint schemes on this bike, there are two paint schemes. First off, there is this beautiful metallic green with a kind of hint of gold. I'm not so sure why they call it, the Scott Addict 20 blue bike. I think that's some kind of a mistake. It should be a green bike. And also you have another paint scheme, which is this gray paint scheme, kind of metallic silver paint scheme. So it is very good that for this retail price of the 3,600 US dollars, at least you have two paint schemes on offer. Personally, I would go with this beautiful metallic green with a hint of gold. It just looks stunning and it's a very classical paint scheme, green and gold. So, okay, we can now dive into the specifications and really see what will you get for 3,600 US dollars. So when we look at the frame and the fork on this bike, you will get the carbon fiber HMF carbon fiber frame from Scott, and also you will get the HMF carbon fiber frame, the fork from Scott. So this HMF level is not, creme de la creme, best of the best that Scott can do. They have their HMX carbon fiber and then very special HMX SL carbon fiber. So this is, not creme de la creme, but of course you can't expect best of the best with this 3,600 US dollars price. All in, this carbon frame is press fit Shimano bottom bracket, 12mm through axles front and the back, and also internal cable routing. And for the fork, of course, 12mm through axle and the flat mount disc brakes. So all in, for the frame and the fork, I have no complaints here. You are getting a standard Scott warranty, which is now 5 years for their carbon frames. So, pretty standard in this industry. And again, I would expect very good quality control, so definitely no problems with this carbon frame and the fork on the HMF level from Scott. Now let's look at the group set on this bike, because I believe this is truly a secret sauce of this bike. And the group set is, in my opinion, superb, Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set. So this is the latest, greatest Shimano's 12-speed electronic group set. So shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything Shimano 105 Di2. It is absolutely excellent electronic group set, and just keep in mind that with Shimano, the rear mech and the front mech are connected with a cable, and then you have a wireless communication between the shifters and the front mech. But all in, 12-speed group set, absolutely going to work perfectly fine. When it comes to the crankset on this bike, you will get a Shimano 105 crankset, 50-34 chain rings. So definitely they didn't cut corners here. And immediately when you look at the chain, this is the Shimano's M6100 chain, a 12-speed chain from the mountain bike world. Again, superb choice, no complaints here. And the cassette is the Shimano's 105 level cassette, 1134 cassette. So when you look at the 1134 cassette with 50-34 chain rings, you definitely immediately see that you have this 1-to-1 ratio, and definitely this bike is designed for the endurance bike riding and the long days in the saddle. Piece of advice here: in the future, when you are replacing this chain and the cassette, definitely stick with the Shimano components. Anything that's, Shimano 12-speed compatible, just use this. So it can be, Shimano 105 cassette, Shimano Ultegra chain, Shimano Ultegra cassette. You can, mix and match the way you want as long as it is 12-speed compatible. Now when you look at the brakes on this bike, the braking system, so this is again a superb Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes, both front and the back. They are using here the Shimano's RT70 braking rotors, center lock braking rotors, and they are 160 millimeters both front and the back, which is excellent. As I always say, you need 160 millimeter braking rotors just because of very good heat dissipation and very good stopping power. Another little tip here in the future, when you are replacing these braking rotors, I would advise you to upgrade a little bit to the Shimano Ultegra braking rotors from these RT70 braking rotors. Now let's look at some of the smaller pieces like the stem and the handlebar. So the handlebar is the Syncros Creston aluminum handlebar, and the stem is also the Syncros stem aluminum piece. It is perfectly fine, both of them are aluminum, nothing is proprietary here, separate pieces, easy to adjust your position on the bike and easy to upgrade in the future if you really want. Personally, I wouldn't bother. These are aluminum pieces, handlebar and the stem are perfectly fine, just keep on riding them. Now when you look at the seat post and the seat is again in-house brand Syncros Tofino saddle. Look, some people like these Syncros saddles. Since saddles are always a personal preference, you can easily upgrade it and change it if you don't like this one. When it comes to the seat post, this is the Syncros seat post 27.2 millimeters, Syncros Duncan. I'm not so sure if this is a carbon fiber seat post. I truly hope it is. Just double check with any Scott bike dealer that it is. I would truly expect it on this level of the bike because, after all, it's $3,600 retail price. Now let's talk about the wheel set and the tires. So the wheel set is the Syncros RP 2.0 wheel set, so front and the back, 28 spokes front and the back, and as far as I know, these spokes should be DT Swiss spokes, and the hubs should be Syncros own hubs, but again based on the DT Swiss ratchet system. So this wheel set is a classical aluminum wheel set. I believe the rim height is probably something about 25 to 30 millimeters, and the total weight of this wheel set is probably around 1,800, 1,900 grams. So it is a pretty decent aluminum wheel set. I'm not going to complain too much about it. And of course, in the future, this is an excellent, point to upgrade in the future. And as I always say, have a look at the DT Swiss wheels. Is it aluminum wheels? Is it carbon fiber wheels? They just do top-notch, excellent wheels, of course, if you can afford them. So as it is, this Syncros RP20, very good wheel set as it is out of the box, and definitely just, ride it as much as you can until it really falls apart. The tires on the bike are the Schwalbe 1 tires, 32 millimeter tires front and the back. And it's absolutely great that they are offering you a 32 mil tire, so a lot of air volume and a truly smooth ride, exactly what you want from an endurance road bike. And again, in the future, if you are changing these tires and upgrading to, for example, Continental tires, Vittoria tires, Pirelli, I would again advise you to stick with 32 millimeter tires just because of great air volume and a smooth bike ride. I have to mention here that Scott is claiming 8.7 kilograms for the full bike. I'm guessing this is some kind of size medium, size 54. So if you add pedals on top of it, let's call it 9 kilograms ready to ride bike. I believe this is a decent bike weight for an endurance road bike on this kind of level components because the competition does it on the same levels. And again, when we are considering the retail price of $3,600, what is my advice to you? I can definitely say if you are considering a Scott Addict 20 road bike, then just definitely go ahead and just, buy this bike or at least shortlist this bike because at this price of $3,600, I think it's a very good offering from Scott, considering all the specifications and equipment you are getting on this bike. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. And if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers.